With American Pie, everyone always talks about the trilogy and reunion, but nobody ever talks about the straight-to-DVD releases. That begs the question, starting off with the very first one in Bandcamp, is it any good? And we're about to find out whether this is a hidden gem or whether this was a big pile of crap. Released in 2005, this American Pie film presents Bandcamp in a whole different light. Showing Matt Stifler going to the Bandcamp as a punishment, it seemed to be a different kind of film to what we would have expected if we stuck in the normal American Pie universe, because not only were we not following 5 different main characters, we were focusing on one in Matt Stifler, Stifler's brother, which had been sent to Bandcamp as a punishment, and now he was going to basically try to live up to the Stifler name by taking pictures of women in the shower, trying to get with girls and fob them off, sort of learning off his brother throughout the films that we've actually seen. And this was interesting, seeing him pivot from that when he realises he falls in love with Elite, and the fact that he wants the band to actually do well and his friends to do well and don't want them to get punished. It seemed that he actually had a heart in and not as selfish as his brother was, and wanted to actually help out in meaningful ways. Even though they backfired in certain occasions, I think he definitely shows his evolution throughout the film, and that's not something you normally see in direct-to-DVD releases, and this had that. This had continuity and felt like it was actually progressing into something, and the Steven Stifler character arc from the main films carried on into Matt Stifler, which then ended with Matt Stifler because he then proved that he was his own person and didn't have to follow in his brother's footsteps, and that he became his own person. That was good storytelling, good character development, and the romantic relationship between him and Elise, hating each other at first, absolutely despising each other's guts, seemingly getting in the way of each other, tormenting each other, to then becoming something where they then worked together. They became part of the group together and worked towards trying to win, and that backfiring, them turning on him again, but then him proving at the end of the film, no, I'm trying to do good here, and I did try to do good and help you out, but it just backfired because this happened. And this is what makes it entertaining. The whole Matt Stifler character arc is what makes it entertaining. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things to hate about this film, which we'll get onto, but if you're just looking over a few of the positives, low budget and seemingly made a half-decent film, you're looking at direct-to-DVD releases never doing well, and to me, I think this is quite an underrated film, and something that I would choose to rewatch again. Whereas you wouldn't say that about some other direct-to-DVD releases, either in this franchise or in other franchises as well, that are just totally forgettable. This wasn't totally forgettable. However, I must say that a few of the side characters were very forgettable as well, and didn't really need to be in there. I think that whilst this was good, I think the thing that drags this film down is being actually connected to the American Pie franchise, because if you name this something completely different, if you just name this Bandcamp and said it was nothing to do with whatever, you bring the character in, call Matt Stifler something completely else, you could have had a film which is really, really good, because then you're not comparing it to American Pie. You might say it's similar to American Pie, but there's no physical connection with that franchise being American Pie presents Bandcamp, and that's what drags this film down. It was similar when we mentioned with Jaws, when we mentioned with Jaws 2. If that wasn't a Jaws film, it would have worked because it just had the tagline. Everyone thought, oh, this needs to live up to Jaws 1. And exactly this situation here with American Pie, it was never going to live up to this film, especially with that budget that it had, and especially since it didn't have a lot of the recurring characters that we saw and grew to love in the American Pie franchise, because all we really saw was Jim's dad in Eugene Levy and Chris Owens' Sherman, and to me, they are good side characters and good characters to have in this film. But it is lacking big names. Even if it was just Sean William Scott in a scene, that would have been cool. Or Jim appearing, or Michelle appearing. That would have helped elevate it. But obviously, again, that comes to the low budget, and that's why this film gets dragged down a notch. But that's how you would have been able to improve it. But other than that, I've got no hatred towards this film whatsoever. And out of when you turn around and say spin-offs and things never work, so they shouldn't do them, I think this is one of those occasions where, you know what? I'm happy they did do it, because it was an interesting take on, and following Stifler's brother was fresh I enjoyed it, no problems. Hence why I rate this film a 6.8 out of 10. But do let us know your thoughts down in those comments down below. Is this actually a good film, or is this one of those where you forget about it, totally bag of crap, and you don't think that this film should have been made? Let us know that down in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet seen some of our other videos like our movie reviews, you need to check those out now. And also our Everything Changed series, it is wrapped up and there's 20 episodes for you to check out on screen. So what are you waiting for? Check those out right now.